All right. Lajuanna, are you there? Almost.
Good morning.
Good morning. Our tester last night worked.
Yes. I was just texting you and I was like, does she have to invite me again? Like, here goes the confusion all over again.
I know. I saw your message. I was setting up a little verbiage to say as the video starts, and so I thought, well, that's perfect. So I'm glad that you were there.
Yes.
So cool.
I got it. How was your night?
Just great.
Awesome.
And yeah, so we usually kind of wait just a little bit, and we'll just chit chat here, and I'll say good morning to some people as they come on, giving everybody a few minutes to see who is going to be on. Good morning, Lisa and Dios. Is that right? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Do I want to tag Jill? Sure.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Lisa.
Jill. And what's cool is your friends. So once you're on live, like you're now, Facebook sends out a little message to your friends saying that you're on a live video.
Oh, okay.
So if they're on, they can come and join us, which would be, yeah, pretty cool. So
this is my first live. I'm doing a lot of firsts these past couple of days.
I know, and that's where it starts. And one of the things that I talk about a good bit is how it's sometimes we wait to start something because we want it to be perfect. We want to get it all together and know what we're doing. But sometimes you just got to start.
Yeah. I'm notorious for that. Yep.
Yeah, well, most of us are, because we want to do a good job and we want to be excellent, but there is a real difference between excellent and perfect. Because perfect's just not going to happen.
Nope.
So, and we just get better the more we practice. So it's just kind of jumping in. So yay, your first Zoom call last night, and now your first Facebook Live.
I know, and I can't thank you enough, Delinda. I feel like if this is you're the perfect person to do my first with. You coach me through. You always encourage me, so I'm excited. I'm excited to get past this.
Cool. Thank you. And good morning, McKay and Charlene. Good morning. It was so nice to see you or I guess it's really was this month because we're still into July, but the Kansas City meetings feel like they were last month because they've been so many weeks already. And then I go back to Kansas City next week. Brian Kell, good morning. My goodness, nice to see you on here. So we are talking, just so that you guys know, we are going to talk about a really personal subject today about for women. And Lajuanna has some great things she's going to share, which is why after she talked on our Zoom call last night, I said, so can you join me on Facebook in the morning? Because this is information that really, you guys, everybody needs to know, because we all, and whatever guys join us, Brian's on, and I used to have several guys that join us on the Tuesday mornings, because you have women in your life, whether it's a spouse or a girlfriend or a niece or somebody, and all women need to know the information so then they can make whatever choices and decisions they want to. Because, how can you make a choice or about something you don't even know?
Yes.
And so that's why I'm so thrilled to have Lajuanna with us today. And hey, good morning, Kathy. Ann Severs is on this morning too. I love this. So as y'all know, and Lajuanna doesn't because it's her first time with me, is that whenever my eyes are going down, I'm not looking at you, is because I'm trying to read the screen. So Lajuanna, does it show you on the screen that people are saying something?
I see that. I do see that. I see Ann. Good morning, Ann. And I see Kathy. Good morning, Kathy.
Yeah. All right, cool. And so this is asking me if I want to wave to you guys. So I'm waving. I don't know what that does to your screen, but it's like, okay, all of these new things to try, right? Kathy, and Brian, Kathy, was that you saying hi, sweet ladies? Oh, that was Kathy. Hi, Kathy. And Sheila is watching. Cool. All right. Right. So where are we on time? Okay, I want to give maybe another minute to just do some hellos, and then we'll kind of get started. Because Alicia, I'm so glad you're on, because you really need to hear this information from Lajuanna, and because you've got 2 teenage daughters.
Hi,
and
Alicia.
Yourself, and this is just incredible information for you to know. And we need to make sure that we share it with Katrie and Emily also. I know Emily's at work, so there's no way she could be on today. But this is a powerful subject. And then, hi, honey, and say good morning and a hug to my baby Henry. And oh my gosh, Ethel from Spain. Oh my gosh, that's our furthest ever.
Wow.
Isn't that cool that we can actually reach across the world?
So cool.
Okay, Fun Fearless Female is now international.
Woo!
Isn't that cool? I think we should like have I should go do a Fun Fearless Female lunch in Spain. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Oh, I'm there. Just tell me when.
Yeah, it's like, let's go. We'll take a big field trip, right?
So I've been to Delinda. I've been to Barcelona and I've been to Madrid. Beautiful. So yeah,
oh, wow.
Schedule it and I'm there.
All right. You know, we could probably get a trip together. We could talk to Lisa Marutka, who is our official Fun Fearless Female travel gal. And she is so amazing and really takes good care of us. She's the one that's doing the cruise. And by the way, I'm going to put a plug in for the cruise, you guys. We still have rooms, and we have a couple of people that need roommates. And so it would be so cool to like grow our group a little bit and have a few more people come along. Hey, Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning.
Cool. Looks like we are going to have a nice, really great group this morning because it's an important subject. So of all the mornings, I'm really, really glad that y'all are on. Okay, so let's get started because I do want Lajuanna to have a good amount of time to kind of talk to you guys. So Lajuanna, just give us the basic overview real quickly, and then we'll get into it a little bit more, and I'm going to ask you some questions pretty much based on the stuff you shared last night. And everybody, yes. I will be posting the Zoom call from last night. I will be posting that at some point within the next week or so. So you will have her whole presentation that you'll be able to go back and hear. Because today we'll only have a chance to pretty much cover the highlights. But Lajuanna, tell us a little bit about you and, go for it.
Well, okay, so because we're here together, we're here in Vegas. I've been here for almost 16 years now. And you and I connected. God bless me to cross your path at your events, your female networking events, Fun Fearless Female, which I love and adore, and always look forward to my time there with you and the other ladies. And so although I've been here for 16 years, my circle has been really tiny. My background is in entertainment, and entertainment and music space is really a world unto itself. But last year I came across, or actually it was exposed to me, a campaign called Now We Know. And it was information that was shared that I did not know. And I know we're going to talk about that this morning. And that most of us don't know and are not talking about. And so Now We Know is basically an information campaign. It's an awareness campaign that is exposing and talking about the toxins that are found in most menstrual pads as well as tampons. And when I heard about it, my mouth was really open, ajar to hear the information that was being shared, because again, it was something that I never thought about one time. And so now I'm involved in just spreading the information so that more of us know.
Yeah, and I love it because it's actually Now We Know, N-O.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because we're going to say no.
We're saying no. Once we know K-N-O-W, the information, we say no to the toxic stuff that's out there. And so, yeah, it's kind of like we're taking control of what we're exposing our bodies to it, and just really resisting what's being pushed to us oftentimes.
Yeah, and to know that there is another option out there. And I think that's what's so shocking is that we've been led to believe that these are all sanitary, good for us, blah, blah, blah products, and they just so are not.
Yes.
One of the things you pointed out last night, and I just couldn't get over the statistic. Hold a second. I'm going to go back in my notes. Was like 600,000 women a year have hysterectomies.
Yes.
And very often can be led back to these problems with their periods, which can come from the products that we're using.
Yes. Well, yes. And it's a very scary and alarming statistic. So it's 600,000 women approximately 600,000 women every year will have a hysterectomy, and it's really for one reason or the other. So it's not always led to and directed and connected with our menstrual pads and tampons. However, it just is a huge indication that there is a problem, an epidemic that's going on with our reproductive health. Because why in the world would that many women have to have their reproductive systems really essentially cut from their bodies? And worldwide, the number is 1/3 of all women will have had a hysterectomy by the time she's 60 years old. And so really what I'm finding is that I'm out and I'm talking to young girls and women, and especially moms, and I'll get the stories all the time, the personal stories about, oh yeah, my daughter's 25 years old. She just had a hysterectomy. Or, oh yeah, I had one years ago. As you know, Delinda, I had a hysterectomy about 7 years ago, close to 8 years ago now. And it blows my mind that at such an alarming rate this is happening. It's not natural. You and I kind of laughed about it, although it's not a laughing matter, that look, God gave us these body parts for a reason. Why are we having them removed from our bodies at such an alarming rate? It's scary.
Absolutely. So yeah, so this would be a good place, Lajuanna. Tell us a little bit about your story and why this is so important to you.
Yes, so just really quickly, the Now We Know campaign is just that. It's an awareness campaign, and we are just sharing the information about toxins that are found in most menstrual pads and tampons. And in general, most of us are familiar with or have heard about TSS, toxic shock syndrome, from the use of tampons, or that can come from the use of tampons. But what most of us don't think about and realize is that a lot of the pads that are sold in stores are also made with toxic materials. It's literally items that have been discarded, like newspapers and wood pulp, wood fibers, plastics, synthetic materials like rayons, things like that have been thrown away. But once they've been shredded and brought through the manufacturing process, chemically treated and bleached with chlorine bleach, that process creates toxins that are then stored in the final product. And so then when we're using the pads or the tampons, we expose those toxins to what is the most absorbent and the most sensitive parts of our bodies. And it's not okay. So now we know that that is contributing and can contribute to a lot of the health challenges that we deal with, like bacteria infections, endometriosis, fibroids. I dealt with fibroids for years. And part of my story is, as I was sharing with you and the ladies last night, is that, I don't know, maybe it was 13 years of my life that I always had a horrible menstrual cycle. But I just always chalked it up to, oh, well, that was just my experience. Not one time did I ever consider or ever enter my mind that, oh, well, maybe if I use a different product, or maybe if I stopped using the tampons, which, could have been making my situation worse. Maybe they actually even caused or contributed to how bad my cramps were. All of that stuff. I just never one time even considered that maybe there was a correlation. And not one time did my gynecologist ever even offer that as a potential, solution, try changing your products. So when I found out this information, and after having a hysterectomy, I felt super regrettable, to say the least, and just wish that I had been more diligent about, maybe looking into some other solutions other than having a hysterectomy and throwing myself into full menopause, which has been a nightmare for me, and then just other stuff. And so if I can just help at least our young girls and moms and dads and anybody who has a female in their life that they care about, at least start thinking about potential solutions, and outside of the box, then I'm doing a good thing, because I know personally for me it's not been okay.
Absolutely. I mean, it really, when you talked about what the current market, the products, and to think that, that those chemicals are what's right against your body like that. And of course, that's what makes them look so white and clean and like they're okay.
Yes.
So just knowing, and like you said, just that you're wearing it for those however many days during your cycle.
Yes.
All day, 24/7.
Yes. And then we do. And we do it for what? An extended period of our lives. Like most of us in general start our cycles when we're about 12 and a half, 13 years old. And if we don't have some medical reason to, stop having a period, then most women naturally will go into menopause about our late 50s, early 60s sometimes. So that's 40 plus years of our lives that we use these products over and over and over again. And this is what's like tremendous to know. In that bleaching process alone, bleaching the newspapers and the plastics and the rayons in order to get them to appear white, there is a chemical byproduct called dioxin in that process. Dioxin is a carcinogen. Dioxin is directly
Happen here. Wait a second.
across, like I'm just, oh my gosh, all the tabs are laced with dioxin. It's not. Oh, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, it froze there for a second, but yeah, go ahead.
So the bleaching process creates a chemical byproduct called dioxin, and this is what is huge to know. Dioxin is a carcinogen, and though it's tiny levels of dioxin, again, when you think about the amount of time that we use these products, the 40 plus years, dioxin is linked to causing cancer. And according to the EPA, our Environmental Protection Agency, there is no level of dioxin that is okay to be exposed to the human body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so when you think about that, and you think about the fact that we use these products, tampons or pads, for 40 plus years of our lives, essentially we're poisoning ourselves. And that's a scary thought. And so when we hear so now when I hear the statistics about, oh, wow, 600,000 women have hysterectomies for one medical reason or the other, it's really not surprising because we're exposing ourselves to crap. And it's not just the tampons, it's not just the pads, it's everything. It's in our food. We can't all afford to buy everything organic. There's a level of toxins in our water. There's a level of toxins just in the air. We're exposed to environmental pollutants every day. So our bodies are always being bombarded with things that aren't good for us. But I just try to emphasize, well, when it's a product that we know we have to have, ladies, girls, and we're exposing these products to the most absorbent part of our bodies, the most sensitive part of our bodies, and really the most vulnerable part of our bodies, because the tissue is so thin in that part of our bodies, then let's at least use products that are not harming us and are working for our bodies. And we do have a great solution for that.
Yeah, so tell them a little bit about that, because I think that's the bottom line is like, okay, now we're all a little scared. We like this new information. So what's, is there an option? So tell us a little bit about that. And y'all know that I do not normally use this time about products, about this, never about sales and all this, but I think it's important enough for all of us to know that there is an option that, and when you tell them about it, be sure to go through the thing about the ion strip. I was so fascinated about that last night. So yeah, tell us about that. And then I want to make sure that you post your information too.
Yes. And I'll just hit on some of the bullet points. So we have a great solution, and it is the Cherish Premium Cotton Sanitary Napkins and Panty Liners. And one, they're made of cotton and not recycled waste. So that's a huge benefit because we're not having that exposure to the harmful toxins over and over again. And then some of the great benefits of it is that you mentioned the negative ion strip, Delinda. In the second layer of these pads and panty liners, there is a natural negative ion strip. There are tons of health benefits associated with negative ions. They help balance our hormone levels. And we can all use some balancing of hormones when it's that time of the month, right? They help balance our pH levels. They neutralize odor naturally. And so you don't have to use those products that have the synthetic natural or the synthetic fragrances, which are just more chemicals that we shouldn't be exposing our bodies to. They repel bacteria naturally, and so you have less risk of bacteria infections. They help minimize cramping, which is amazing. Just tons and
Wow.
tons of benefits. In addition to that, our absorbency center in those pads is a natural plant-based polymer. That's actually found in a lot of infant diapers, newborn diapers, because when we have babies and we're moms, we don't want our infants being exposed to wetness and waste. The natural plant-based polymer actually pulls wetness from the surface and draws wetness away from the body. And so you never have that feeling of sitting on a wet diaper, which is disgusting, right? Nobody likes that. And so it's amazing comfort, but in addition to the comfort, it's a huge benefit, health benefit with that. My example is that when you think about our girls when we're at school, or even ladies when we're at our office and we're using conventional pads, and as our flow is being released into the pad, oftentimes we're sitting on that wet pad for several hours. That poses a health risk because essentially it's like sitting on a wet sponge. Conventional pads don't get dry, they stay wet. And when we're sitting on top of that wetness, that flow and those toxins are really being absorbed back into our reproductive system. And again, it's incrementally, but when you think about the number of times that we do that and the number of years that we do that, and that's why several of us will experience bacteria infections and can't really explain why, or yeast infections. And we're doing all that we're supposed to be doing. And it's like, hey, why am I having this yeast infection again? A lot of times it's because of the products that we're using. So tremendous, tremendous health benefits. And then one of the other things I always like to point out is that they're biodegradable too. So not only are we not harming our bodies, we're also not harming the planet. And so it's like a win-win. It's a win-win.
Yeah, and I love, that whenever we can do things that actually have multi value.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yes.
sure. So, I just love hearing about this information. So because I don't know if you can, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to type at the same time as I'm on. So when this gets posted, would you be sure to put the connection to the Now We Know, so that, whatever that website is, so that they can
I will.
connect with that just for more information. And then also how they can friend you, maybe to follow along, and then also the information on the option,
yes. I will post it. There's great information. There's great information on the camping website. It's nowweknow.net. And again, it's nowweknow, because once we know the information, we're saying no to the harmful products. So it's nowweknow.net. Great information there. There's a quick video there. There's testimonials there. And then for anybody who wants to actually get the pads and start to use them, or the panty liners, just go to stayhealthypads.com. All the pads and panty liners, they're just $5 a pack. And so it really is worth that small investment to be preventative and expose your body, or not expose your body rather, to the products that are harming our bodies and harming the bodies of our girls and nieces and whomever we care about, and ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would also like to reach out to you guys if you, particularly if you're in Vegas, but probably anywhere, if you have a women's group, a group at school or at your church that you would like to share this information. I know Lajuanna, this is something she's just very passionate about, as y'all can tell, and she's really knows her business, but she would love to be able to share that information with as many people as she can. This is one source, what we're doing today, but if y'all have other ways and places that that she could share the information, be sure to reach out to her, because I know that she would love for you to do that.
Yes, thank you so much, Delinda, for saying that, and thank you so much for allowing me to do that. I know, because I watch you every Tuesday morning, and I come to the networking groups, and I know it's never about plugging information, but you do allow me to share about the campaign. And it really is all about opening up the conversation and allowing this to become general information that we know about. It's such a taboo topic. We don't talk about our periods outside of maybe complaining about cramping. But we do. We need to know this. And it needs to not stop. It needs to stop being such a scary thing. Because what's scary is that we are having hysterectomies. What's scary is that there is a growing rate of cervical cancer. What's scary is that, it's affecting our health. So let's talk about it. Let's be diligent in sharing this info and raising the awareness so that our girls do know and that they grow up knowing this information, and you're not finding out, once you've had some type of medical emergency.
Right. And Lajuanna, share the thing. I thought it was really interesting what you said. I know we're getting low on our time, but you were talking about how you're the Cherish pads, but you don't do tampons. And the reason, and you explained that last night, and I thought, man, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, and you know what? I used to be a tampon wearer, and so I know sometimes it's hard not to use tampons because sometimes you just have those moments, right, where you have to have a tampon and you feel more comfortable. But the fact of the matter is that there really is no such thing as a healthy tampon, although I know that there are organic tampons out there. And so that's always my side note, is that if you just have to wear one, then at least wear the organic ones. But the fact of the matter is that tampons work against our body's natural ability to cleanse itself. Our flow should flow out of our bodies. It should not be held inside of us. It should not be stagnated inside of us. When we are inserting and removing tampons, that actually creates micro tears in our vaginal wall, which causes us to be more vulnerable to bacteria infections. And there are other, I won't bombard you with a bunch of facts, but there are other health risks that are associated with using tampons, including obviously TSS. I shared that there was a really devastating story that I just saw last month that was posted in People's Magazine. It was on the news. There was a 16-year-old girl on a high school trip, and it was a camping trip. She passed away in her sleep, and the autopsy showed after the fact that the reason being was because it was because of TSS. It's scary. And so that doesn't happen often, but it happens, and it's scary. When blood leaves our body, our reproductive tract, as it does, that's what's happening when we're on our periods. Once it leaves our reproductive tract, that blood becomes bacterial. And so when you think about the fact that it's being held inside of our bodies and also being held inside of our bodies in a foreign object, an object that's oftentimes comprised of toxic materials, because more times than not, tampons are made of the same materials that pads are made out of. And instead of sitting on top of them, we're placing them directly inside of our bodies. When you think about that, that's why we're more vulnerable to bacteria infections, yeast infections, endometriosis, just, a lot of things that aren't good for us and can cause health challenges. And so it's just, think about that. Use them as less as possible. Don't sleep in them. Please use a healthy pad. The Cherish pad would be a great option. So just make those little changes that you can here and there, just to, preserve your reproductive health.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And again, I think particularly in the young girls, as they're just starting into that, and just for them to know, and as moms and grandmothers, sharing the information so that, again, just so we know and become more aware. So I want to thank you so much. You are just so full of information. I love it. I love your heart. Everybody reach out and check that out, just so that we can understand more about our bodies, more about what's going on in our world. Toxic shock syndrome is a thing. I mean, it kills people.
Yes.
When I was young, like through high school or college somewhere, I shared this last night. There was quite a rash of that. I mean, like many, and that's a sort of, I think, when they really realized what it was and started doing warnings about that. So be aware. Now
be aware.
We can say no, and we can make different choices. So.
Yes, perfect. That's perfect, Delinda. Once you know, say no. And ladies, if you do, when you're in the stores, if you just pick up some of those products, some of the tampons and the boxes and the pads, the warnings are there. Just oftentimes we don't pay attention. It's that time of the month, and so we need to use something, and so we just grab what's on the shelves. But just pay attention and know what you're exposing your bodies to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it has been a great morning. Boy, the time goes by so fast. Lajuanna, thank you so much. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Again, there's no more precious gift that you can give than your time. And I always so appreciate it that you want to share this time with us and have our coffee and tea together on Tuesday mornings. I just so appreciate you. And as I always like to close, it's early in the week, and so keep this in mind that life is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. Choose wisely. Choose how you spend your money, what you spend your money on. Choose what products you use. We all have choices every day, and we get to choose how you're going to do this week. Are you going to have a fabulous week or not? That's your choice, right? So go out, make it a great week, and make a difference as you go. Touch someone, give a smile, and just make someone's day today. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good
Bye.
morning. Have an amazing day, everybody. Talk to you soon, Delinda.
Bye. You're welcome.